10 differences between The Last of Us game and show. Live-action adaptations of video games often have suffered from a poor reputation, but things have changed. The Last of Us showrunners Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann incorporate many of the game's beloved storylines and moments and add their flair to flow better in an HBO TV show. The Last of Us has been one of the year's most popular shows, so popular that it's beaten out another HBO juggernaut. Welcome to BingeTv, and in this episode we are looking at the biggest changes HBO made when adapting this beloved PlayStation title. But before we move on to our picks, we have a surprise for you. BingeTv has joined hands with Audible by Amazon. Audible is Amazon's audiobook service, allowing you to get audiobooks and free audio podcasts. The audiobook collection is vast. Almost every book you're looking for is on the app. You can either buy an audiobook or pay for the monthly membership and get an extra book at lower prices. Audible's key benefit is its on-the-go nature. Listening to the audiobook and absorbing loads of information from a business book, lifestyle book, fashion or design book, and guided wellness. The perk of Audible is that you can download it and read it later when you are offline or don't have any Wi-Fi signals. Also, if you're not sure if the audiobook you're planning to buy is worth it, you can simply click on a sample button in the app and listen to what it will sound like. This will help you understand the content and the narrator's voice to determine if you can listen to it for 8 to 10 hours. So what are you waiting for? Click on the link down below. Now, let's begin the video. 10th place. Joel's journey is more personal. On the show, we learn that Tommy's gone silent in Wyoming, not having sent a message in 3 weeks, and Joel needs the truck battery to look for him. This seems like another shift designed to make Joel more approachable to viewers and to establish that nothing is more important to him than family. The following day, Tess tells Joel that Robert sold their battery to someone else. Joel, angry and worried about Tommy, wants blood, but Tess seems to have some power to rein him in. Joel and Tess decide to transport Ellie in exchange for a new one. While in the game, Joel and Tess agree to take Ellie if the fireflies give them the guns Robert promised. Tommy appears only in the game when they discover where Ellie needs to go. 9th place. The timeline and cause of the cordyceps outbreak. The show explains the science of how the cordyceps fungus can have similar effects on humans as the zombified ants as temperatures become warmer. We jump ahead to 2003 for Outbreak Day, which marks a notable change from the timeline of the games. In that timeline, the outbreak occurred in 2013, and the game's main events occurred 20 years later, in 2033 and 2034. Here, the 20-year leap that follows Outbreak Day situates us smack dab in 2023, albeit a version of it that looks very different from the one we're living in right now. We fade in on a shot of light streaming in through a window, a clear nod to the image seen on the game's start screen. Sarah wakes up on a normal day not knowing it will be her last, wearing the same t-shirt for a fictional band called Hallican Drops that she wears in the game. 8th place. The empty mall. A few changes were made between the digital Left Behind story explanation and its namesake episode on the series. Ellie returns and checks Joel's wound, which is infected. She has no idea where to inject the medicine, so she puts it into the wound's immediate area, then feels his forehead and lies down next to him on the pallet. Joel turns his face toward her slightly, but doesn't wake up. The following day, he's not doing noticeably better. She injects him again, then goes outside to see David, James, and 3 other men coming their way. She hurries back inside and puts a knife in Joel's hand. Ellie hops on the horse and shoots at the posse as she rides away. In the game, Ellie searches an empty mall for medical supplies for injured Joel. Her battle makes her think about the last moment she spent with Riley in another mall while on the show. Riley suddenly remembers her past when Joel kicks her off and tells her to abandon him. But despite leaving him behind, Ellie becomes more determined to save Joel's life. 7th place. Where Joel finds Tommy. In the show, Tommy and Joel finally reunite after years apart. Tommy reveals that he is married to a woman named Maria, and they're expecting a baby soon. In the video game, there is no warm and fuzzy family reunion. Instead, Joel and Tommy's reunion is interrupted by a group of bandits, which leads to a shootout. Joel finds his brother near a hydroelectric dam working to restore electricity. While Tommy is married to Maria, she isn't pregnant. 6th place, when fireflies capture Joel and Ellie. Joel and Ellie explore the university and discover the fireflies have moved to Salt Lake City. They try to escape, but one of the looters catches Joel and attacks him. Joel ends up overpowering and killing him, but he gets stabbed. He gets himself back on his horse and gets Ellie to safety before collapsing onto the snow. However, the protagonists are altered between mediums as soon as they pick up. The game features a section where Ellie and Joel attempt to cross a body of water and accidentally end up submerged. Although the duo makes it to the surface, the immune survivor nearly drowns. The series avoids water completely. Instead, the fireflies drop grenades, leaving him unconscious and capturing Ellie. 5th place, Tess's death. In the game and the show, things play out much in the same way up to a point. Clickers attack the group as they make their way through the museum, and while they're separated, Tess gets bit. She soldiers on and keeps it to herself while they make their way to the Capitol building, where they find the dead fireflies. Tess quickly falls into panic and starts searching for a map or some clue as to where to head next, but when she finds nothing, Ellie realizes that Tess is infected. From here, things split slightly between the two versions of the story. In the game, Tess begs Joel to get Ellie to his brother Tommy, who might know where the Fireflies' research base is. They have little time to say their goodbyes before the soldiers arrive outside. As they run away, we hear gunfire and Tess yelling as she's shot down. The TV adaptation removes the soldiers from this scenario, switching the cause of panic and Tess's demise to a horde of zombies attracted to their location. 4th place, David becomes more horrifying. David was a bad guy in the Last of Us game, but the show does away with all subtext. David is portrayed by Breaking Bad and Jason Bourne actor Scott Shepherd, and his performance is building off a character who is already undeniably villainous in the game. The show does not attempt to disguise David as a good man who lost his way in the apocalypse, even if that's what he might believe he is. This man has formed a cult, has established a system to kill and cannibalize innocent people, and despite the game never saying it out loud, is a predator toward 14-year-old Ellie. The Last of Us game clearly shows that David has some predatory intentions toward the potential victims. In both versions of the story, Ellie takes advantage of the moment to break his finger and attempt to escape. But because the HBO scene is a bit longer, we have to sit with the uncomfortable, growing tension as an older man tells a 14-year-old girl about the life they could build together. 3rd place, infected abilities. In the game, the initial spread of infection involves bad crops. It's never specified which crops were responsible for the spread or how Joel and his family avoided them. In addition to bad crops, the infection spread through biting. This is similar to the show, though there's never even mention of a patient zero. As the infection spreads, spores also become an issue for humanity. Breathing in fungal spores can infect people, so Joel always carries a gas mask. This threat is completely absent in the show. In the show, after becoming infected, they become a zombie that can move quickly and attach themselves to walls to allow the fungus to fester until an unsuspecting victim walks past them. Once that happens, they break free from the wall and pounce on their prey. 2nd place, Bill and Frank's relationship. Bill and Frank manage to not only find each other in the show after the apocalypse has ravaged the world, but they're also able to build a beautiful relationship. Bill's purpose was to save Frank's life, and Frank's purpose was to give Bill a life. They live in defiance of the atrocities and heartbreak that this new world order dictates to many. In the game, Frank hated Bill and stayed away from him. The two didn't resolve their issues before Frank took his own life to avoid becoming infected. 1st place, Henry and Sam's arc. Similar to their video game counterparts, Henry and Sam enlist the help of Joel and Ellie to help them escape the city. However, there's one main difference. Sam is not only a couple of years younger than Ellie, but he's also deaf and heavily relies on his non-verbal communication with Henry to understand what's happening. Kathleen doesn't exist in the game, and her presence is the most game-changing part of the story. In the adaptation, Henry's actions to save his sick sibling inadvertently caused the death of Kathleen's brother. Her quest for revenge made the entire arc more tense, complex, and gripping. So, what are your thoughts on this episode? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, make sure to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time for more.